matters, but there has to be a solution, no, like for no all these and no questions. So there has to be some answers for these questions, and it has to be found out why, what, when, why, who, and no, like by whom, and no, like when it has happened, why it has happened, what was the outcome, what started it off, everything. So, systematic process of collecting. For getting the solution for these questions, you are going to collect the all the relevant data, analyze those data, and interpret the data. That is, no, like come up with the results and interpret, communicate with other parties who are interested in the solution. That is, who are interested in the results. And it refers to the systematic and scientific approach used to gather and analyze data. So when you go for just a collaborative like answer or collaborative research, so it includes both qualitative and quantitative research. So why here the scientific approach is mentioned is whenever the data is collected and analyzed and used for publishing the results, so that's why the scientific approach is mentioned. So when it comes to scientific approach, you need to understand, okay, so that relates to the data. So proper data was collected and no proper analysis has been done using some statistical or mathematical calculations. It provides a framework for conducting research and ensuring that the findings are valid and reliable. So you cannot come up with a vague solution for any research. For any research questions, you cannot publish or you cannot come out with a vague solution. So it has to be a valid solution, valid answer, and it has to be a reliable one. It has to be an acceptable one, because you're making use of the other reliable sources for doing the analysis part. So it has to be valid one. So it doesn't have to be a vague one. And this is not completely disturbed. Okay, so please mute your audio, guys. Please mute your audio. Okay, so we were speaking about the valid and reliable results. That is no valid and reliable outcomes. So it has to be very near to the truth, or it has to be the truth. Okay, sometimes hypothesis can be made. That is no hypothesis can be given as a solution. So hypothesis is something you have the solution which is not scientifically proven. It is not subject to change. So that's what you call scientific, that's what you call, like a hypothesis. So because of this reason, this would have happened. And because of this particular event, this would have been the outcome. And because of this particular, input, so this would have been the output, or possibly this would be the output in the future. So all these are like hypotheses, which doesn't have any valid or standard measures to prove, but overall, no, like we can have an understanding. Okay, so if this happens, no, this is going to be the result. So what is the importance of research methodology? Why a research has to be conducted? It is crucial for successful research project. For any research project to be carried out in a standardized, organized manner, you have to follow a methodology. So you cannot start the research process, vaguely and end it with within some unknowing point. So there has to be a standard. There has to be an organized way of doing it. So like how to start, when to start. So what are the resources you have to use, and how to collect the data? What are the measures to collect the data? What resources you are using to collect the data, whether it's a questionnaire or it is not like just if it is a questionnaire, whether it's a physical questionnaire, that is not like a questionnaire printed on a paper, or a questionnaire generated by the the system, and asking the participants to just give their answers to that questionnaire. So how it is done. So that is called methodology, and there should be an end time and end, start time and end time for any research to be carried out. So this doesn't apply to scientific researchers and historical researchers. So the end date cannot be predicted at all. So for scientific and historical researchers, there cannot be an end date for submission or end date to come out with a hypothesis or a solution. Because no, like the field of study and the field of research is something else different. So a well-designed research methodology ensures the study is systematic, unbiased, and produces reliable results. So completely it should be unbiased. So the researcher who is not carrying out the process shouldn't know like try to impose his or her own ideologies and feelings no into the research. It shouldn't happen in that way. So then it means no a proper research is not being conducted. So I may be having no like my own opinion of no like on few things. So few things in the sense about food, about culture, about race, about God, or no like about the religions, about the languages, and about no like few values no I follow or no generally the world follows. I may be having different opinion, and other people know me may be having my close associates may be having different opinions, and other people know I associate with will maybe having different opinions. So there is no like there is no space for an individual's opinion in any research carried out. So everything has to be a valid data, and this valid data has to be collected through a proper and no like a reliable source, whether it's the public or from no like other resources, or it is through no like scientific outcomes. A proper research has to be done, proper no like the data has to be collected, proper analysis has to be done, and the results has to be published. It guides the entire research process from identifying the research question to analyzing the data. So first, any research starts with the research question. Why, what, how, when, who. So everything, no, like it starts from the question, research question, and ends with the analyzing the data and interpreting the results. So what is the scope of the research? Why? And no, like where it can be applied. So this systematic, rigorous investigation of a situation or problem is carried out in order to generate new knowledge or validate existing knowledge. So this research, any research for that matter can be carried out to find a solution to an already existing problem, or a new problem can be created, that is no like can be imposed, and then the research is carried out for finding a solution to that question. So it can be no in either way. So you're going to do a research, so for which you're going to find a solution to a question which is already no like it's available in the market or available in the system. Or otherwise, what you can do is you yourself are coming up with the research question and trying to find a solution for it. So in either way, the research can be carried out. So it's an endeavor to discover new or collate old facts, etc., by the scientific study of a subject or by course of critical investigation. So, as I said, I know, like as I have mentioned before, scientific study in the sense data has to be collected, analysis has to be done. There are no like few mathematical and statistical no evaluation methods that has to be applied. Then the results has to be published. Okay. So now we are going to see about the types of researchers and sorry, not researchers, research methodologies. That is no how the research can be carried out. So this depends on no like based on few factors. The first one being the research objectives. So you have to set up the objective of why that research is carried out by you, or by a team of individuals, or by an organization or a company or an agency, or by the government. So why a research is carried out? What is the objective? So why that has to know like happen now, or why that has happened previously, or why this is supposed to happen in the future? Why that particular research has to be carried out? So set up the objective. The second one is data collection methods. Be very clear and precise about what data collection methods you are going to utilize for collecting the data. So who are your target, um, at factors or target, like customers or target public. So from which source you're, like planning to collect the data and how you are going to do it. What is the, like data collection methods you are going to use for collecting the data? And what is the time limit, you have set up for yourself for the collection of the data, when you're going to start and when you're going to end, and the sample size that you have to decide. So what would be the sample size you're going to take? 1,000 or 10,000, 5,000, 500 or 100? So what is the sample size you're going to use for collecting the data? Say, for example, I'm going to do a research on 100 professionals, IT professionals, on the topic that how AI, how artificial intelligence has like made an impact in the IT industry, and like some kind of a question, a research question. So my target is like I'm going to collect it from 100 IT professionals, or I'm going to collect it from 1,000 IT professionals, or maybe 10,000 IT professionals. And I have to again be sure whether all these 100,000 or 10,000 or from the same company or from the same IT industry or from different companies. If it is going to be different companies, so what are all the companies, like I'm going to reach out for, and in each company, how many, individuals I'm going to question to collect the data. So be very clear and precise about, how to go with the data collection method. And the third one is analysis techniques. Use the right kind of analysis techniques. There are various analysis techniques now available, like mathematical analysis available, statistical, and a combination of both is also available. So this mathematical and statistical, no, it's ubiquitous. That is, no, it is applicable to all types of researches. You cannot confine this techniques, that is mathematical or statistical techniques, only to management related researches. You cannot confine it. It is applicable to scientific researches. It is applicable to historical resources. But few analysis which is carried out for scientific research cannot be applicable for management related researches, or it cannot be applicable for historical related researches or ethnographic related research. We will see what is no historical, what is ethnographic and all. But to be like to give a glimpse, like I'm like saying this. So a particular analysis, research analysis cannot be applicable to all kinds or all classification of resources. So you have to use the or choose the right kind of research analysis techniques. And you can know, like after collecting the data, apply those techniques and give an elaborate, like information of how you have, like interpreted the data, into the technique and what were the results. Okay. The first one is there is a type of research is qualitative, and the second one is quantitative. So qualitative research, it is no exploratory. So exploratory in the sense, you don't need to have any historical or past data in hand. You don't have to rely on any data. Okay. So just like go on with like interviewing people, asking them their preference, and like asking them their suggestions, their opinions, or like any question related to their lifestyle, their buying patterns, and like their food, their culture, their ethnicity, whatever. So this is exploratory. You're exploring them. You're not exploring them. That is the data, not the data. I mean the target customers in like different aspects. You're completely exploring them instead of relying on the data part. It is used to gather in-depth information about opinions, beliefs, and experiences. So here you can know, like, be very sure that the data you have collected, that is no, the data what I here mentioned is the information you have collected from no, like issuing the questionnaire or a survey form. So once that is no, like collected, no, obviously it comes under data. So this is not completely reliable because people themselves, public themselves has given their own opinion. So it's not the general opinion what we hear, no, like usually people think, usually, no, like citizens feel, or usually, no, like the public, no, their interests are in. No, there is no usually at all. You're really collecting what is a citizen interested in, and in his own voice or in his or her own words, you're collecting it. So that's a completely reliable, authentic, and true data. It investigates the why and how of a phenomena. So why, how, why they are purchasing no this particular type of a product? Why they are sticking on to this particular of brand every time they wish to buy a product? Or why they are not choosing the product no in between this price range? So why they always go for online products only? Why they are not purchasing through offline market? Or why a particular customer is purchasing only through offline market and not no going for online market, online purchase? So why? So depends on why and how of a phenomenon. So there are various methods no available no through which you can collect the qualitative data. The first one is interviews. So go on interviewing people. Select the the target place no where you want to interview. For example, you can select no like malls, or no like you can select any industry, particular company or industry, or if you want to do no like research on no like the most lovable food in the city. You can go with no check into any restaurants, and you can no directly ask the customers of those restaurants know like what is their favorite dish. So just go on with the interview, nothing else, and collect the data. Then is focus groups. So focus on one particular group of people and ask various questions you have in your mind that is related to the research. So, for example, you can just know like focus on the students group aged between adult learners, no, like aged between 16 and 18. So they would be in their no like higher secondary, or just no like they have passed out their higher secondary. So that would be your focus groups, target groups. So anything related to education, you can know like ask their opinion about, like how was their no like learning experience in their higher secondary, what type of school no that they have studied, and what subjects no they have taken as elective in their no higher secondary, what they are planning to do in future, or what which course they are planning to take in no like a university or a college, where they are planning to study, no like whether no like within the local colleges, or no like whether they are planning to go abroad. So all these questions you can focus on one particular group and you can get the data. And the third one is observations. So here you're not disturbing anyone, you're just observing the event. You're just observing. Just know, like, if you want to know overall how many customers in different age groups checks into a mall per day, especially during the weekends, no? All you have to do is, no, like, sit in the front portion of the mall, and you have to know, like, take a count on, no, like, whoever is, no, like, entering the mall. So, and, classify them according to their age. So you can no have no like okay 5 to 10 years aged children. So how many of them are no like checking into the mall, and no like aged between 11 to no like 15 and 15 to 20. So you can make it out no like overall by seeing a person you can make it out. So which age group no like they belong to. So 20 plus, 30 plus, 40 plus, 50 plus. So this is no like observation. Completely you're just observing the phenomenon and you're making a note of the data or collecting the data. So here you're not disturbing the public at all, not disturbing any event at all. Actually, you're just watching the event, observing the event and taking out the notes, collecting the data. Then is case studies. So this is like like a thorough investigation of a phenomenon or an event that has happened. Case studies. So take one issue or no one event, maybe in an organization or maybe in your locality, or maybe in the place where you work, and or maybe in the team, where you're a group member or a team member, or you can take within your city, so whichever. So take a the research topic and do a complete case study on that particular topic alone. So take an example of take your locality for that matter. So you want to do a case study on your locality on a few things like how many stray dogs have increased in the past 6 months. So it's a complete case study. What are the reasons? What initiatives the government has taken to get no rid of those stray dogs? So how many had been rid of actually? So are they getting vaccinated by any of NGOs, pet lovers? So is there any adoption center for these stray dogs? So all these it can be done. So obviously that will result to why stray dogs have increased in your locality or why they have decreased in your locality. So that is a in depth of the case study. Or take an event in an organization for that matter. So an event has happened, like the company has met a loss in the last quarter. Why? Why that has happened? Or there was a conflict between two departments or two levels of management. Why? How it rose? What were the factors influencing it? And what was the impact? What was the result? And know how to rectify it. You can even give suggestion at the end of your case study if you have one. If you have a suggestion to give a no solution to that problem or a phenomenon, you can give as a conclusion. So this is qualitative research. So where you're not relying on any past or historical data. And then it's the quantitative research. So data driven insights, completely reliable, relying on the past and historical data. So quantitative research uses numerical data to quantify and measure variables. So quantitative research is nothing but doing a quantitative analysis, collecting the data and doing a quantitative analysis. This approach allows for objective analysis and drawing statistically significant conclusions. So there is no way or no room for hypothesis here. If you're depending on the data-driven analysis, there is no room for any hypothesis. So the results has to be clear and precise because you're using data for doing the investigation, which has already, this data is, this data has been collected based on the past events, historical events, which has not recently, the company has gone through or experienced. So the results has to be sorry, results has to be precise and clear. So there is no room for hypothesis. Then is the structured approach. So there should be a structured approach for collecting this quantitative, using this quantitative methods to do a research. So while you're following the qualitative research, it's completely up to you. For example, you may feel, okay, so day one, I'm going to know this particular location, I'm collecting at least 50 data, and day number two, I'm going to this location, collecting at least 70 data, and day number three, maybe I might not be going at all. So it's completely up to you. But you're utilizing quantitative research, you have to know stick on to the standardized way of researching, standardized way of collecting data. You have to stick on to those standards. So quantitative methods employ standardized instruments such as surveys, experiments to collect and analyze data systematically. So you cannot in between, no, like in between during the research, at the time of the research, you cannot simply change the way no you're analyzing the data. See, while no you're not starting off with your research, while you're starting with your quantitative research, you may have suggested, or you may have no like you may have opinionated that no, like, okay, this is the statistical method or analysis part which I'm going to use for collect, no, for analyzing the data. Then, while after no, like starting off with the research, you cannot change the method of analysis. So once you have not made it as a standard, you have to follow the same standard. If you want to use some other technique, no, in this quantitative research, you have to conduct that, make it as another research subject. So statistical analysis. Let me move this little bit so that, okay, fine. Yeah, this is better. Okay, statistical analysis. So these techniques are employed to identify patterns, relationships, and trends in the collected numerical data, leading to insightful findings. The statistical analysis. You have collected the data, you have no like applied all the statistical techniques and everything, and now no like it gives you an idea the trend, what is happening, which is the maximum, which is the minimum, which is the highest point, which is the lowest point. So what is the trend, like in the future, and what was the trend before, everything, the identifying patterns, it's completely, like it can be visualized actually. It can be, like but it can be visualized in the form of, like charts, bar diagrams, or like graphs. It is not represented as a graphical images or as a, some visual images. So you don't have to go through the data collected or go through all the the numerical researches, numerical values which has been like utilized for like doing the data analysis. Just by seeing this the visual pattern, you can easily understand that this is actually the final result of the data what you have done, quantitative data what you have done, research what you have done. So by seeing the graphical representation, visual representation, you can easily, anyone for that matter can easily come to a conclusion that like this is what the pattern is, this is what the trend is, this is where the company has no met loss, this is where the company has faced the profits, everything. Okay, and we have mixed methods of research as well. That is no like for partial data research, this partial research you can go for qualitative, and for partial research you can go for quantitative. So this is not applicable in like most of the researches, but sometimes it is applicable when studying about matters related to say history related researches. So you can now apply both qualitative and quantitative. So qualitative, how it is done is you can ask the historical researchers, who have already a knowledge about the historical events. So you can now ask their opinion, ask their like idea about like what has happened, because they would have got enough knowledge by going through various journals or various books on historical events. So you can just interview them, like give a questionnaire to them and ask them to publish all their findings and publish all their opinions. So in this way, you can, collect the qualitative data. And quantitative data can also be, like applicable to historical research based on, like few mathematical or statistical techniques. Because while studying the fossils and while studying the the rock formation, the seabed and everything, all those related, like the environment related study of the historical events, what has happened in the past, like the Big Bang, what has happened before Big Bang, after Big Bang. So what is time in space? What is a space time? How space time becomes becomes slower when like when you move in a linear direction. So all these it's a combination of qualitative and quantitative data, because these are all not only scientific researches, but these are all historical researches as well, because these are the events which has happened in the past. Okay, so we have seen about the types of researchers. Now we are going to see about the classifications of researchers. There are many classifications based on the type of research you're carrying out, or based on the the type of research you are like planning to carry out on a particular topic, research topic. So this classification of RM categorized research approaches based on their objectives and methods. These classifications help researchers select the most suitable approach for their specific research questions. Now we have no like initially you have no like set up that whether you're going to go with qualitative or quantitative data. Now after selecting that or a mixed research, now we are going to finalize under qualitative or quantitative or mixed research methodology. So which classification of research you are going to follow? The first one being is the basic research, the very basic one. So it's otherwise called fundamental or pure, otherwise called as fundamental or pure research. It's driven by a scientist's curiosity or interest in a scientific question. Like what happened, no? Like within 5 seconds after Big Bang. Or like which was the, no, like possibly the first living organism, no, on Earth, and what are the possibilities of the life forms in like other planets or other galaxies, or like what induced virus like which was dormant in previous, now it has become so active. So all these like some scientists or some researchers curiosity, so that curiosity made them to like come with the research question, and they are going to find a solution for it. So this is a basic research. The main motivation is to expand man's knowledge, not to create or invent something. So definitely not to invent something. So invention is not here. You're not going to invent something. But you're not going to otherwise, like on the other hand, you're not going to create something new. This has already happened in the past. You're going to like trying to get to know why this has happened. What would have happened? So what factors has no caused that effect, to be like happen? So why it has happened? So what was the after effects? So what factors induced the phenomenon, or what factors induced the event? So these are the basic researches. There is no obvious commercial value to the discoveries that result from basic research. No commercial value. Okay, if we come to know about what happened after 5 seconds of the Big Bang, what is the great commercial value in that? Nothing. Or the industries are going to make any money out of it? No. Or is our economy is going to like grow? No. This is just one out of curiosity. A question has arisen, and the researchers are trying to find out the answers for those phenomenon or even which has already happened in the past. They're not going to invent something, but they are trying to discover which something has like done in the past or already happened in the past. Like how did the universe begin? What are protons, neutrons, electrons composed of? What is the scientific genetic code of the fruit fly? So all these scientific related questions. And not only scientific, philosophical questions as well. Philosophical questions. Do God exist or not? If God exists, what form the God would have been, or what form the God is, whether the God is he or she or no something else. So these are all the curious questions, like you have, like usually the researchers, have in mind, who are experts in their field, or maybe not for that matter. So these are the basic research. And the next one is the applied research. So it refers to scientific study and research that seeks to solve practical problems. So there is a problem in the present scenario. You are not going to find a solution to solve the practical problem. So this research is used to find solutions to everyday problems, cure illness, to develop innovate technologies rather than to acquire knowledge for knowledge's sake. So when COVID happened, no one worried about the Big Bang or no. No one worried about like what are protons, neutrons, and electrons all about. So no one know like was no one had no like any idea, or no one was interested in know like what which was the first organism on the earth. No one was interested. All their minds were no like focused on what is the cure to the disease. What is the cure? What are the ways to no prevent this no like disease no like affecting us? So comes under applied research. So finding a solution to the day-to-day problems, practical problems. So, for example, improve agricultural crop production and treat or cure a specific disease. Improve the energy efficiency of homes, offices, or modes of transportation. And this is related to the commercial value. So obviously, this data, this research, applied research, it is closely connected with the commercial value. So finding medicines, you sell that medicine. Whoever finds no that vaccinated the vaccination, so that company has no like obviously no like generated lot of profit at the time of COVID, whichever company for that matter. And the test or cure a specific disease, improve agricultural crop production. So any company or industry or an individual group of individuals comes out with a technique to improve agricultural crop production, you're going to get benefited out of it, a commercial related benefits. And improving the energy efficiency of homes, offices, obviously, like we are got cutting down the fuel consumption, fossil fuel consumption, and we are going for solar powered energy, everything. So obviously, that improves like the economy of any country. Clear? So this is the applied research. So this finding the solution to the day-to-day problem or practical problems. Okay, correlational research. This refers to the systematic investigation or statistical study of relationships among two or more variables without necessarily determining cause and effect. That is, here there is no like two or more variables. So what is the impact of no one on the other? For example, listening to music lowers blood pressure levels. Is it true or false? So is it right or wrong? So carrying out a research on this. So who would be the target customers? Obviously, people who have high blood pressure level. High blood pressure level patients or no like group of individuals. So they will be the target customers or the target participants for, from whom you are going to get the answers. So there are two ways of conducting the research. Experimental, that is, group samples and make one group listen to music and then compare the BP levels. So you're going to segregate the whole group into two. So divide them equally. So for example, you're taking like a sample of 100 patients, BP patients with high BP levels. So 50 are going to listen to like constantly in the sense on a daily basis for some time they are going to listen music. The other ones are not going to listen music. So after some time you test the BP levels of both the groups and like publish the results. Check whether the BP levels have lowered down for the group who has like usually listens to music whenever there is whenever they are finding it easy. Then you have survey method. Ask people how they feel, how often they listen, and then compare. So in this case, who will be the target, like participants? The people who have lowered their BP. So maybe, like before 3 months or 6 months, their BP would have been high, but now their BP would have been low. So in this case, from whom you can ask the help is, the doctors who treated them, or you can collect the data from the hospitals because the hospitals will be having the records of all the patients, so they'll be having the records, even have the records of when those patients have visited the hospital, who is there like a doctor, which specialist has treated them, what was their BP level or sugar level that particular time, and now how much it has increased or decreased or not, or everything everything will be there in the records. So you have to rely on the doctors or the hospital management to collect those samples. And after collecting, you can now approach those participants saying that, okay, so we got your, information no from this hospital. So what made you to know like lower your BP level? Are you guys listening to music? Or you usually listen to music? So what was the no like what made like are you exercising, or you have no cut down the oily foods and fried items? So what is it all about? So in this way, like correlational research. So two events which has an impact on each other. And then is the descriptive research. That is not like describing something. So it aims to accurately portray the characteristics of a population or a phenomenon, the general characteristics, and how the data is collected. It relies on methods like surveys, interviews, and observations to gather data on specific variables. So completely qualitative research analysis is done here, because there is no like not relying on the past or historical data. So we are going with the qualitative research here. So what is the objective? It presents an objective and factual representation of the subject matter without drawing conclusions or explaining relationships. So in this type of research, you are not coming with any solution or any conclusion or trying to explain no any relationship. Because of this, this has happened, and because of this event, this is going to happen, or because of this particular factor, so this, no, the other factor, no, had a great impact. No, there is not going to be no like any relationship to explain. So this is descriptive research. Just go on with the description, but let the description be very accurate. So this has happened, and finally, no, like this was the end of the phenomenon, and there is no conclusion at all. And then you have ethnographic research. So it refers to the investigation of a culture through an in-depth study of the members of the culture. It involves systematic collection, description, and analysis of data for development of theories of cultural behavior. So here that can be a mix of like qualitative and quantitative. So you can apply both type of research methodologies for conducting an ethnographic research. It studies people, ethnic groups, and other ethnic formations, their ethnogenesis, composition, resettlement, social welfare characteristics, as well as their material and spiritual culture. So, what is an ethnicity? So, what is an ethnicity? Which ethnic group no Asians belong to, or which ethnic group Americans belong to, or which ethnic group no like the whom you say no like the maybe no like Australians no belong to. So ethnicity is no like something, no like a group of people following a particular culture. They speak the same language, and no like they follow the same pattern of no like few things, no. So even they would have no like get scattered, no like after some time, but they go on with no following the same pattern of culture and everything. The way they dress, the no like the belief system they have, or no like the way they eat food, or no particularly no like the dishes they prepare, usually like the staple food they eat. So these and all no like comes under ethnicity. So what kind of no like the dresses no they wear, so this comes under ethnicity. It studies, okay, that is done. And the purpose of ethnographic research is to attempt to understand what is happening naturally in the setting, and to interpret the data gathered to see what implications could be formed from the data. So, like, why this is done? Because to understand to what is happening naturally. So, purposely no this is not done, the scattering of the no like a particular ethnic group, so that is not done purposely, but no after some time naturally it has happened. So why it has happened, the reasons has to be no like analyzed. And no like where are the settlers right now, what no like the culture no are they are following now, how is it different from the culture they followed few generations back, and how it is now? So all these notes, it's related to the ethnographic research. For example, take civilizations, these Mesopotamian civilizations, Egyptian civilizations, or Harappan civilizations, Chinese civilizations, and like what else you have. I think, yeah, almost everything I mentioned. Yes, so these study about these civilizations, like Harappan civilization. So there's those people, like according to researchers, like they are actually, a mix of Dravidians and like Indo-Aryans. There was a mix actually. When slowly Indo-Aryans like came and settled in settled in places, locations near Harappan. So what happened? These like a part of Dravidians slowly moved to the south. So the culture during the culture, the belief system which was followed during the Harappan civilization. So most of it is still followed by the Dravidians in the South India. So this is the relation. So you're studying about an ethnic group. So the complete research is being carried out. Experimental research. So this research is a study in which treatment, procedure, or program is intentionally introduced and the result or outcome is observed. So discovery of penicillin, the solution for smallpox. It was not like experimentally done. That is not like purposely, intentionally done to come out with a solution for this disease called a smallpox, which was a deadly disease by that time. So the no the what do you say the doctor who invented penicillin. So purposely like he took the virus the smallpox virus from an infected person and like injected it on I think a cow. I think a cow. Then that serum was again taken and like injected on people who were like suffering from smallpox. So it acted as a like a vaccine. So purposely this was done. So why? Because intentionally it was introduced to test the result and the outcome. And then we have exploratory research. So initial investigation is conducted when there is little prior knowledge about a subject. It aims to gather information and develop preliminary insights. So you already have a little knowledge about it, and now you are going to gather more information and going to develop preliminary insights. So how you're going to come with a hypothesis? So exploratory research helps to generate hypotheses, formulate research questions, and define the scope for further investigation. So if there is a hypothesis, then obviously it is open for further investigation. But if you are going with the accurate results, there is no need for further investigation. So this comes under a qualitative research. Exploratory research comes under qualitative research because you're not relying on the past data. Because if you are relying on the past data, the results would be accurate and very near to the truth, which doesn't need any further investigation. But here you're following that this exploratory research and coming up with a conclusion or a hypothesis. So which obviously opens way to further investigation. So qualitative data collection is done, often utilizes methods like focus groups, interviews, and observations to gather subjective information and uncover hidden patterns. So an example might be, like an exploratory research to understand consumer perceptions of a new product concept before launching it. You're getting the idea, you're getting the opinions from the customers before you launch the product. So this is an example of the exploratory research. Then explanatory research. This is something else different. So what is it all about? First, we are going to go with cause and effect. So cause, there is a cause, and what was the effect of that cause? Something has happened, and what has happened after that? What was the effect of that happening? So this type of research aims to establish a causal relationship between variables. It seeks to answer the question why. So phenomenon has happened and no, the result has not happened like this. Why? So what is the relationship between the cause and the effect? So statistical methods are crucial for analyzing data because explanatory research comes under quantitative research. So statistical data has to be, and statistical methods has to be undergone. Drawing conclusions in explanatory research, it is often used to validate the relationship between the variables. Hypothesis testing. So it often involves in testing hypothesis to determine the validity of a proposed relationship. It seeks to explain why things has happened. So let's see an example in real world application. So this is valuable for understanding and addressing complex issues in various fields like business, healthcare, and social sciences. So a cause and an effect, a phenomenon and the effect, an event and the effect. So whatever it can be, a behavior and the effect, an individual's behavior and its effect in the organization, or a group's behavior and its effect in the organization, or a level of management's behavior and its effect in the organization. So anything you can take, but you have to compare no between these two variables. So what induced the cause and what was the impact? Why this impact has happened and why not the other impact has not happened? So is it necessary that if this is the cause only, this is the impact to be happen? Is there no other way? So all these questions can be answered no under no explanatory researches. Hope you're all clear about it. So we have come to the end of the session. So if you have any questions, you can stay for 2 to 3 minutes or otherwise you can leave. We will meet next week.